Seniors, you have to consider this before buying an e-bike. Stick around to find out what it is. Hey everyone, I'm Dustin. I have nearly 20 years experience in the bike and e-bike industry. And today, seniors, I've got something you must consider before buying an electric bike. But before I get into it, hit the subscribe button below, stay in touch with us here at 630. Be the first to know about all the new content we're putting out, giveaways we're doing, and of course, new product releases. Now, I've done hundreds of test rides with riders over the age of 60. I've also surveyed a lot of 630 riders and gotten their feedback around their ownership of an electric bike and things that they should consider. And I've got the number one thing you need to consider as a senior buying an electric bike. But before I get into it, I've got two 630 bikes right here, the Zip and Fold 750 watt folding e-bike and the simple step through, easy to mount and dismount 500 watt e-bike. Check out both of these linked in the description below. Awesome e-bikes for seniors. Now, a couple things I've seen is, number one, I've seen a lot of seniors get on e-bikes that are not easy for them to mount and dismount, and I've seen accidents occur. So the one thing as a senior you need to consider is, number one, how is your body at the time in which you're going to buy an e-bike? And number two, do you foresee your mobility changing over the course of the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years? The reason I bring this up is because an electric bike is not an inexpensive purchase. This one is $1,400 as of today, and this one is $1,700 as of today. Now, an e-bike is something you're probably going to want to own for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 years, let's say, even more. And over time, your body may change. As a senior, I've seen it. 1 year you may be able to lift your hip high enough, and the next year you can't quite get it over the bar. And so I think it's important to consider buying an e-bike that you know will be conducive to your body over years to come, so it won't be rendered useless in a garage because you can't get on and off of it. And the reason I bring that up is because we have a few great options, and the number one thing that I think is most important for seniors is a low step through. Because a lot of these frames have a very high bar here, and you can't just get your leg over. You have to do a swooping leg from the back. Now, not on these two. On the simple step through, you can step through very easily. Now on the Zip and Fold, you can step through as well. Now it's a little bit higher than the simple step through, but still you're able to put your leg over that way. Bringing your leg around the backside like this is not the easiest way to mount an e-bike. And this is gonna take a lot more hip mobility and a lot more athleticism. And like I said, just because your body allows you to do that today, doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be able to do that in a year from now or 2 years from now. So what I like to suggest is consider an e-bike that has a low step through frame, so you know you'll be able to mount and dismount it again in 1, 2, even 5, 10 more years. In particular, the simple step through. This is only an 11-inch step over height. All you have to do is step right through the frame and you can slide back onto the seat. Very easy to get on and off. I see with so many riders, bikes that are hanging in garages from the 70s and 80s, because now that rider may not be able to ride it anymore because it has a very high top tube or it's very uncomfortable, something of that nature. And so again, now that we're talking about higher dollars and something you're going to use a lot more and hopefully use well into your later years, it's always good to have a bike that can fit you through the changes of your body. Now you can see on the Zip and Fold, the step over height is a little bit higher. It is 17 inches. So 6-inch difference, but it still has the step over ability where you can just put your leg through like this, and a very low one on the simple step through. So you have to kind of decide what's best for your body and where you think your athleticism will be in a few years. The other thing too to note here is the seat height in the lowest position. On the Zip and Fold, it is 33 inches, and on the simple step through, it is about 32¼ inches. So about the same, but you're getting a very low step through on the simple step through. And again, I've seen this and I've heard this feedback. Someone will say to me later, oh, I wish I'd gotten a step through frame so I could mount and dismount it. You know, and you see a lot of other e-bikes that have very beefy frames. They may look cool to certain riders, or they may have certain top tubes that you think are better because it may resemble what a traditional triangle frame looks like. But in this day and age, there's so many different curves, so many different step-through frames. I really think put your body first as the #1 decider. Think about what you're capable of, where you're at, what does your body need now. The last thing I want to say is the riding position, because on the simple step-through, you have a very ergonomic upright riding position, so your arms can be relaxed, your back can be relaxed. It's going to reduce the pain you feel after rides. And on the zip and fold, same thing, it's not quite as relaxed. You can see I have to reach my arms out a little further. They don't come into your body, but you have to lean just a little bit forward. So again, think about your body, what's best for you before you choose an e-bike, and don't get caught up in just the electronics. Now the electronics are important, don't get me wrong. That's why the Zip and Fold has a 750 watt motor. So if you're looking for more power, or you're a heavier person, like over 200 pounds, you may want 750 watts. If you're about 250 and less, you can also consider the 500 watt. 500 watt can also be good for up to 300 pounds if you're mainly flat ground. But if you're gonna do a lot of hills and you're over 225, you may also wanna consider a 750 watt. So the electronics are important as well, but I put body at the #1 thing because you wanna make sure you're investing in something that you can use for years to come, and also something that fits your body in a way so you can operate safely and comfortably while you're riding. And then from there, you can look at the motor sizes. My #1 rule, and I say it in other videos, is I don't typically recommend over 500 watts for seniors because that's gonna be more than enough power. You can still achieve 20 miles an hour, but again, if you're over 200 pounds and you're doing a lot of hills, then I would consider a 750 watt option. And you can check out all the other videos on our YouTube channel where I get into more details about e-bikes for seniors. I also go into more specifics of these two e-bikes right here. Again, the Zip and Fold from 630 and the Simple Step Through, which are both linked in the description below. So if you have any other questions and comments, please put them below or email us, the team at 630.com, or call us 310-982-2877. Again, both of these linked in the description below. In addition to that, we have a 30-day test ride your e-bike policy. If you don't love your e-bike in the first 30 days, send it back, no questions asked, no money out of your pocket. In addition to that, we're going to warranty everything for a year. Anything goes wrong in the first year, we'll take care of parts and labor to make sure you're still out there riding. And lastly, join our Facebook peddlers group called 630 Peddlers. Talk to existing riders before you purchase, hear their feedback, ask them questions to see how much they like their bike. You can also talk to other seniors and get their experience about what works well for their body types before you purchase. Then once you have your e-bike, post photos, make new friends in the group. It's tons of fun. You can also track your rides on the 630 app and compete on the leaderboard. That is a lot of fun as well. So thanks for sticking around, and don't forget, it's your journey or experience. Enjoy the ride.